for being good sports up there. It is 7 o'clock on the dot. We like to be timely. Welcome, everybody, to the 2025 6th grade concert band. All right. They're obviously very excited. So just 2 short months ago, these students came to school on a very exciting day where the instruments arrived and everything was there. So we're really excited to show you what we've learned in these quick 8 weeks. So we'll get started with our very first opening number. This is the most highly requested song we get every year. last 8 weeks we've been learning a lot. What you just saw happen there, there's a lot that goes behind the scenes. Like obviously assembling our instruments for us woodwinds, that took a couple days to learn. And there's all kinds of different skills. You know, the brass players also learn all about how their instrument works and everything, and putting it together. We learned how to sit with good posture. We learned how to read the name of the notes on our page, as well as the rhythm. So it's a lot of skills that we tackle at once. Just like a bunch of easy skills, and I like to describe it like juggling, right? There's just a bunch of things they're thinking about at once. And even the most impressive skill, which you saw before you played, is we had 136 graders quiet on the stage, so that's impressive enough. One quick reminder before we go on to our next tune. Now that we're a couple months in, again, just a reminder for supplies, whether that's valve oil or reeds for the woodwind instruments. So as we get toward the second semester, it's good maybe to check in with your student, make sure they have everything they need. That way they can keep making all this wonderful progress. All right, up next we have our next tune, which you might recognize as, in our book it's titled Rolling Along, but you may know it as Mary Had a Little Lamb. Well, there's been so much that's helped to contribute to our student success. So one thing I want to shout out is we were able to bring in several clinicians here at the beginning of the year. These are local pros, local educators who were able to work with our students. And for the for percussion, we have Drew, who's our awesome percussion instructor. He comes in and gives our percussionists some very great specific percussion instruction. I know the brass had Mr. Strickland coming in, who came in. He's one of the staff of our marching band. He came in and worked with the brass players. And for the woodwinds, we had Christine Condon, who worked with our flutes and our clarinets. She's been an educator here at Beaver Creek for quite a while now, and she's been great. And our saxophones, we got to welcome and invite Dr. Shelley Jago, who runs the music education at Wright State. So she was able to give a nice clinic for our students there. So if you're interested in your students receiving more help like that, I encourage you to check out on our website, ankeneyband.org. We have a list of lesson teachers if that's something you might be interested in. Again, lessons are not just for students who are struggling. Lessons are great for students of all levels, whether they want to excel and kind of push further, or if they're just wanting to take a different approach and get that individual attention. So if you have any questions about that, you're welcome to reach out to us about lessons. All right, up next, we have March Steps. Here we go. Speak for all the students, but I feel like this next song is one of their favorites. We call this one Listen to Our Sections. And up to this point when we were learning music, everything we've played, it's like everybody's playing the same note at the same time, That's easy. Now, this is the first time it's like, ooh, different instruments are playing at different times, playing different notes. So we get a chance to kind of hear each section. So before we play that, I'd like to kind of show you what those first, the students were allowed to take their instruments home at 1 week. So whatever sounds you heard at home, that was after a week, right? So we're going to show you a little bit what our day one sounds sounded like. So for our woodwinds, let's take your mouthpieces off. So the flutes have the head joints. Flutes, hold up your head joint real quick. Show them the head joints. So this is what produces sound on the flute. So they blow air over a tone hole, and that makes sound. Saxophones and clarinets, go ahead and hold up you have your mouthpieces. This is where they learn how to put a reed on, the ligature, and all of that stuff. And if there's ever a moment where you think, wow, Mr. Grisham doesn't get paid enough, this is what it sounded like kind of on day one when we learned how to make a sound on these. Here we go, woodwinds, ready? Every day. Then the brass players, they have to go ahead and hold up your mouthpieces, brass players. They come in different shapes and sizes depending on what instrument they play. Obviously, the smaller instruments have the smaller mouthpieces. And they learned how to make a sound on that by blowing air through the mouthpiece, which makes the mouthpiece, or makes their lips vibrate. So go ahead, brass, here's your mouthpiece noise. Kind of soothing after that, right? Very nice. And then percussion. The percussionists, they learned all kinds of technique on how to hold their mallets properly, how to stand properly in front of their instrument, where to strike the instrument at the right spot, all without trying to like drop their mallets or anything. So this is what percussion sounded like on day one. Here we go. All right, nice job, percussion. All right, well, we hope you enjoy hearing and listening to each of our sections as we feature them and listen to our sections. Now we're ready to introduce the other half of the 6th grade teaching team. Please give Mr. Weaver a warm welcome.
All right. The next piece the 6th grade is going to play for you is called Lightly Row, and in Lightly Row, it's 16 measures long rather than our normal 8 measures, so it's a longer piece. And we actually introduced dynamics in this one. So we learned what forte is, which is very loud, which comes very natural to a beginning band student. And then we learned piano, which is not natural to a beginning band student. And then we learned how to crescendo, to get louder, and how to decrescendo, which means to get softer. And you're going to hear all of these things in our next piece, Lightly Row. play our next piece, just a little update. On our calendar at the beginning of the year, we had the date for our Kings Island Trills and Thrills trip as Saturday, May 2nd, but it was tentative because we weren't sure if we would get a spot on May 2nd. It's a very coveted spot. We did get spots on May 2nd, so our Kings Island trip is going to be Saturday, May 2nd. So if you want to put that in pen in your calendars now, you're good to do so. You'll get all the information about that later on. I just want to give you that date so that you got May 2nd on your calendars. All right, for the last bit of our concert, we're going to take you on a little tour of Europe. We're going to start in beautiful France on the countryside. This is a French folk tune, and this is also where we introduced our sixth note, so now we know 6 notes. This piece is called Au clair de la lune, which we learned a little French means, by the light of the moon. I hope you enjoy it. Countryside and get into bustling downtown London, England, for London Bridge. This is actually a duet. And we know that duet is 2 different parts happening at the same time. So you're going to hear part A, which is the melody, and then you're going to hear part B, which is the harmony. And they don't know what part they're playing until this very second right now. So let's have clarinets, saxophones, trombones, and percussion on part A. Everybody else is on part B, and there is a repeat. Don't forget the repeat. This is London Bridge. And before we play our last piece, we wanted to thank everybody that helped with the donation fundraiser that we had earlier this year. We met our goal. We actually exceeded it by a little bit, which is awesome. Thank you so much. I sent an email out to everybody whose name we were going to put in the program. I got some responses, and I got some no responses. If I spelled your name wrong, or you want to go by something else in our next program, please let me know. Same thing, if there's a misspell of a child's name. I had an 8th grader at open house, a parent come up to me and say, hey, do you mind spelling my child's name right in the program this year? So sorry. And then special thanks to our soloist level donors, Waverly Advisors, and Flying Free Handyman, and then our conductor level donor, Baker Roofing. So thank you so much for supporting the band. It's already gone a long way to help us out. We had some very expensive repairs as soon as we realized how many tubas we had. So that was not cheap. So we're going to leave London. We're going to make our way to Austria, where Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart did most of his composing, where he lived most of his life. This is called a Mozart melody. You probably know it as Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, or the ABC song, or Baba Black Sheep. Believe it or not, it's all the same song, inspired by inspired from Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. So here's our last piece. We hope you enjoy a Mozart melody. Can you believe just 3 months ago they didn't know what instrument they're playing? Now they're playing this stuff. It's incredible. So we're going to do a real quick stage change. We're going to send these kids down here so they can watch the presentation of the guest performers. Give us just a little bit. We'll be right back.
Yeah. All our special guests, as we get prepared for our special guest to arrive, we're going to do just a quick demonstration on smart music. We like to do this at this concert because smart music is a pretty big part of your students' band experience, both here down in 6th grade and all the way through high school too. All the grades use this program. So just take a little bit of time to talk about it, show you guys some tips and tricks. That way, if your student needs help with something, you can have just a little bit more knowledge maybe on helping them with this software. It's a little bit of a learning curve to it, but it provides so many benefits for us as, the size of these bands. We obviously can't help every single individual student every individual day. But these recordings and these assignments that we give help us to really hear your student one-on-one, give them specific feedback throughout the quarter and throughout the year. So what you're looking at right now is the page that your student sees when they first open the assignment. They select their instrument, and of course they have the notes. The first thing I'd like to show is that if a student is ever confused on a note or anything of such, they can just click on the note, and it gives them some options, like, oh, what do you need to press down to play this note? They don't even show. Oh, for that note, we don't press anything down. Or maybe we're confused on the note F. Very clearly kind of shows them and gives them a good reminder. So that way if they're stuck on, what button do I press down, what valve do I press down, that gives them a good answer. For brass players especially, this little wavy icon is nice because it gives them the actual pitch. Yeah, so again, to play. And that way they can hear what that note sounds like. Another nice feature is having this My Part. So if they turn on this My Part, they can turn off the accompaniment. Maybe they have a little bit of a metronome on. They can actually hear what their part of the assignment is supposed to sound like. Pretty nice. So what we really encourage students to do is if they're trying to practice their assignment, before they even hit record, they maybe hit a play button first, and they can try to play along with it. And that gives them a good chance to practice it first. What we want to really try to avoid is students opening up the assignment oh, I gotta get this homework done so I can watch TV, hit the record button, first try, send it, go, right? So encouraging just a little bit of practice playing along with it. Once they are comfortable with playing that assignment, what they need to do is they have the choice. They can put the accompaniment on, just like nice little background music for them to use. When they do the recording, though, they do need to have this My Part turned off. It will not let them record unless that is on. So then they hit the red record button, and then they record their assignment. Another common mistake students make is maybe they were practicing and their cursor is halfway through like it is right there. Make sure we click at the front, students, and we start there. Make sure we're starting at the beginning. So we're going to do a quick demonstration. Students, you want to hear me play an assignment? Yeah, all right, here we go. Wish me luck. Every great musician starts here. We got to start somewhere, you all, right? Okay, all right. So what's great about this is once they do a take, it does give them this green. Now, smart music over the years, it's definitely improved every year. They find ways to improve it, and obviously with like AI emerging, there's different things. It can give them some pretty detailed feedback. It tells you like how many correct notes and rests you've done. Like if you were early on any notes, I was apparently late on 6 of the notes. And you can hit the show me why, and it'll actually even play like the little snippet that you did and kind of show your mistakes individually, which is super cool. So that way they can get some feedback even there. Now, of course, when they turn in the assignment, like we watch all of those too, and sometimes, as we like to say, smart music isn't so smart. So then we'll give the correct comments and give them their adjusted score for that. Okay, so let's look at this, like, there's a lot going on up there, wow. So a basic thing to know is obviously green is good. That means you got the right pitch, and you play the note in time. Yellow means you got the right pitch, but rhythmically you maybe played it a little too soon or a little too late. And so it kind of will tell you, so if we look at that second measure, I played that note just a little bit late there. Obviously with the red notes, that means you got the wrong pitch. And oftentimes it'll show you maybe like what note you played instead, sometimes. So that gives kind of you just like an idea of what happened there. And so our goal is to have all green notes. If you have all the green notes, it's a good sign. But even if you have a red note here or there, sometimes again, smart music will not always catch it perfectly, and Chromebook microphones are only so good. So, kind of take that with a grain of salt. So then after some practice, and go through practicing each measure one at a time, you can take multiple takes. So I don't know, if Mr. Weaver was going to grade that, I don't know if I want Mr. Weaver to hear that recording, so I'm going to maybe try one more, okay? Professionally. I'm nervous about that every year. Okay, all correct. Good. That's obviously the goal, you guys. You know what? But students, what I want you to understand too is even if you don't get 100%, we're not always going for perfection. We're going for progress. So if you have a certain grade on one smart music assignment, try to take another day. Just a little bit of progress here and there. That's the way we can get better at our instrument. All right, I'm going to go check to see how much more I have to stall. I'll see if I have to pull out any of my jokes or not. Give me 1 second. All right, so as you can tell, if you're using your skills of deduction, we have our special guests are about ready to be ready. We're super excited to welcome them to the stage. And parents, again, if you have any questions about smart music, feel free to reach out to us. I know it can kind of be a lot to take in, and many of us did not have this technology if we had learned an instrument, if we were even in band at all. So I understand it can kind of be like a whole new world out there. The last thing I'll say about this program too, students, is that it has so much music on there. They have thousands of songs, like themes from movies and Minecraft music and all kinds of like interesting music that as they learn more about their instrument, they learn more notes, they can kind of begin to explore it. Students, it even has a composing feature where you can kind of like learn to write your music too. There's just a lot you can do with it. So I know sometimes you're like, we have a smart music this week, and we're like, oh. But guys, it's a really great chance to learn and get better. Cool. We're going to go ahead and welcome our special guest of the evening, Ms. Heather Marsh-Myers, one of the directors here at the high school. Give her a welcome.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Heather Marsh-Myers. I'm one of the 2 band directors here at Beaver Creek High School, and we have a special treat for you this evening. We are going to have a guest presentation by our high school marching band. So, they're going to play their competition show for you, just a standstill performance, the music from this. And we absolutely adore doing this performance because it shows you what your child can eventually progress to. So you just saw your students performing like the first 5 notes that they've learned on their instrument, and in just like 3 short years, when they're freshmen in high school, you'll see the growth and accomplishment that they can make by working hard on their instrument. So this is super fun, and 6th graders, we're so excited that you've decided to be in band, and we hope that you watch this evening, try to find somebody that plays the same instrument as you, and listen to them and see how much growth they've made since their time sitting in your seats, because they were 6th graders once too. So let me tell you a quick little bit about our competition season this year. We're very proud of the program that we put on. This was probably the most successful marching band season the Beaver Creek Band has ever had. So we're very proud. I'm going to highlight some of the cool things that we did this season. We started our season going to Hilliard Bradley for an OMEA competition where we received a tie for Best Music, Best General Effect, Best Visual, Best Percussion, and won Grand Champion of that show. Then we went to a Bands of America regional competition in Columbus at Historic Crew Stadium. There, the band made it into finals and then placed 5th overall out of the 26, 27 bands that were at that show. That is the highest score and highest placement we've ever received at a Bands of America regional, which was very exciting. Then we went up to Avon Lake. We take a weekend trip every year with the high school band students, and we performed at Avon Lake High School, won all the things there, won Grand Champion again, and then took the students to Cedar Point the next day. So they got to just have a little fun and let loose and enjoy each other's friendship and company. And then from there, this is one we're really excited about. We performed at the Ohio State University in Ohio Stadium, and there were 33 bands at that show, and we finished with the highest overall score in that entire show. And then we capped off our season a couple weeks ago at OMEA State Marching Band Finals, where we received a superior rating for the 35th year in a row, one of the longest streaks in the state of Ohio. All right, and without further ado, we are proud to present the Beaver Creek High School Marching Band.
director here at Beaver Creek High School. This show was titled Imagined in Steel. It features the songs Tempered in Steel by Charles Rochester Young. The middle movement is a soprano saxophone concerto by John Mackey that's simply entitled Metal. And the closer you'll enjoy a ton because the closer is Master of Puppets with a little bit of Crazy Train and a little bit of Iron Man. So we hope you enjoy Imagined in Steel.
Thank you so much for coming out tonight. This could be you. 2 years. Just stick with it. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? And practice. So, thank you again, parents, so much. And as always, please don't forget your children. Have a great night.